All right, so uncivilized vitality, health, and wellness. Movement number 3, make friends with the floor. Here's a specific exercise or movement practice you can use every day to loosen up tight hips. So you'll want to be able to just start out on the ground, a kneeling position or deep kneeling. And as always, have your yoga blocks, maybe even a blanket, your bolsters nearby if you find out that your range of motion is not quite what it used to be or what you imagined it to be. Okay. So first thing you want to do is from the deep kneeling position, you're going to shift your hips off to the side so that you're now sitting instead of kneeling, meaning that my pelvis is holding my weight. That's my new point of support. We're going to call this a side bent sit. Both knees are bent, but I'm on a pelvis, so that's I sit. And you sometimes hear of this called a 90-90 or a what else they call that? Like a lateral sit, all sorts of things. MoveNat, the terminology we would use in natural movement, would be a side bent sit. So in this case, I'm sitting on my pelvis with my right leg bent sort of behind me. I want to be resting on the top of my foot, not necessarily like this. This causes quite a bit of heel hook or ankle crank torsion on the knee and can be quite uncomfortable. If you get to this position, you find that this cheek's not sitting fully on the ground. That's the time to get your bolster and kind of prop it under that cheek to support your weight until you can get it all the way down to the floor. Okay? So we're going to work on this right hip first. You might also want to be able to bolster this knee if it's not quite all the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my weight off of both sides of my pelvis over onto my left so that the weight is free from my right leg. That's not supporting much weight, if any. And with the muscles of my leg or using my hand, I'm going to bring my foot around to the front and then tuck it under my left knee. So now I'm in a crossed open bent sit, or say crisscross applesauce or Indian style tailor sit. Okay? We say crossed open bent sit. Now I'm going to take that right leg, shift my weight back so the foot is free, bring it all the way around, internally rotating that hip, lay that foot on the floor, shift my weight back to it, and then slowly bring it back around in front and tuck it under. Feel free to use your hand and kind of inch the leg along if you haven't quite got that rotation yet. If you get right here, it's a little tight on the knee, start pulling in your bolsters and find a position where the knee is supported or the hip, okay? And then back to your side bent sit. While you're here, you can do other things like look around, extend your field of vision, practice reaching for some things. But mainly it's working on rotating this hip around. Right? Shift your weight, bring the hip back around to the side, shift the weight, bring the foot back around to the front. Okay? And then don't forget to do both sides. And that little practice of going from the side bent sit to the crossed bent sit will help you start to loosen up your hip and get some mobility back. That'll help all your movements. Hips and pelvis, the seat of your power after all. So if you like that, try it out. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then look for some more ground movement tidbits coming soon.